The last time I felt the pressure of water on my paddle and the soothing sound of waves lapping the bow of my crimson-red kayak, multicolored autumn leaves were dotting the surface of the water. But that was 4 months ago, and the only paddling I have done since had been pulling on weighted ropes while seated in a wooden contraption in my treeless basement during the cold and dark days of winter. With the weather predicted to peak at 50 degrees this Wednesday, that dry spell was about to come to an end. By the end of last summer, I had worked out a system and a plan for going on my trips on the water. I had found storage places for the clothing and gear, but it's amazing how scattered and misplaced everything had become since I last used it. It used to take less than 20 minutes to prepare before finding myself driving down the road to a local lake or river. But for this first trip of the season, it took 3 days for me to find all the stuff I needed and to get it ready. I have accumulated a small wardrobe of merino wool clothing to wear while kayaking, mostly from a supplier called -33. Merino provides a number of advantages over synthetic materials, the fibers being different, making them softer, non-itchy, and resistant to the buildup of body odors, and providing protection from ultraviolet light and a good level of warmth even when getting soaked. Although quite a bit pricier than the other choices, I believe merino wool to be worth the cost difference. Now it was time to do battle with my dry suit, where it is always a struggle to push your hands through the latex rubber cuffs and the pièce de résistance, stretching the neck collar over your head, both necessary evils to prevent water from entering the arid and warm confines inside. And finally, knee-high waterproof boots with a grippy, rugged sole to handle the harsh conditions. I'm crossing the Allegheny at Freeport here. My objective today wasn't the big river, but rather the Buffalo Creek tributary, which joins the main flow at this location. This isn't the first time I found the boat launch ramp at Freeport to be coated in mud, but it is the first occasion I found it blocked with thick sheets of ice. I found a suitable launching spot from the earthen bank just to the right of the concrete ramp. I had a conversation at the ramp with someone from the town. He said that Buffalo Creek had been totally frozen over and that I was lucky the ice had broken up and flushed down into the Allegheny only a few hours before my arrival. After days of anticipation, and more than a slight bit of apprehension, I pushed off from shore and began my 2025 kayaking season. I wasn't alone in enjoying the relatively warm weather. As you are able to hear in the background, at least one hog member was out on his motorcycle as I made my way upstream. Well, first time on the water this year. It's been a few months. If it's been even a few weeks, a lot of times it takes some getting used to. Feeling natural again. Let all your fears go past you. Well, one of the fears was getting in the water. I had my doubts there with all that mud and ice, but things worked out pretty well, actually. We'll see how things go getting out of the water. I talk about my fears and mention getting in and out of the water. I still have a lot to learn about the proper and easiest technique to do so, but I also have a weak back and knees and can't call up the strength of youth to raise my sorry ass out of the boat. Then there is getting over the tippy canoe sensation, what I feel in abundance on the water today. Even at the end of last summer, at my best, I couldn't tilt the boat over onto its edge anywhere near what a seasoned kayaker could, leaning the boat over, helping to turn left or right. I always was timid and cautious, fearful that I would capsize and fall into the water. It seemed like no matter how much I practiced, tilting the boat over onto its side never became second nature to me. Perhaps more than one season of practice is necessary. Leaving the 2nd Street Bridge behind me, I start to become the slightest bit more comfortable, taking time to concentrate on using the paddle more effectively and noticing the ice at the edge of the creek and hearing the sounds of wildlife around me. The gentleman I spoke to at the dock admonished me to be careful and related to me a couple cases where people had lost their lives on the water under foolish circumstances. What next came to my mind were the words of Edward Whymper, the English mountaineer best known for the first ascent of the Matterhorn in 1865. Climb if you will, but remember that courage and strength are not without prudence, and that a momentary negligence may destroy the happiness of a lifetime. Do nothing in haste. Look well to each step, and from the beginning, think what may be the end. This quote appearing in my consciousness made me realize that the two unfortunate souls who perished on the river, without prudence or consideration, did take a step in haste that cost them their lives. I felt smug being on the river, thinking that I was being cautious and doing nothing stupid, having the right equipment, experience, and paddling on calm water. But fortunately, I realized that I was just as susceptible to folly as they. Water's flowing pretty well through here. It's a bit shallow underneath this railroad bridge. And the ice went out this morning. I'm not making much headway here. Maybe I'll just turn around here. I didn't get much past the mill. I usually go at least up underneath the railroad bridge. Some bricks on the shore from the old brickworks. I watched a video recently of some kayak racers. The kayaks, I swear, were narrower than they were. I couldn't imagine staying upright for 2 seconds on one of those racing kayaks. But they showed them paddling and just said they were just taking it, relaxing, taking it easy. And the paddling was just so efficient. I'm trying to emulate them right now. Full backstroke, using the core. A nice twist at the waist, especially at the end of the stroke. Back in the water, back in the water. And using the paddle train in the basement, you can develop the muscles on the pull stroke. But you can't compare lifting the paddle out of the water, clearing the paddle out of the water, because you've got the basement floor right there. So the paddle trainer is certainly valuable. And it gives me a head start on the season here. Yeah, the water certainly is cold. Ooh, baby. That's why you need the dry suit if you went in. At least the suit would keep the water away from you. A lot of things to get used to today. Wearing the full skirt, not just the drip skirt. Getting used to sit. I've got a back band. I traded the seat for a back band. I found that having a full seat made it very difficult getting into and out of the kayak. My hand got in the way of the back seat, the seat back and the rim of the cockpit. This really doesn't feel any different from the seat. I still am sitting up. The back band's giving me just a little bit of support down low, connecting me with the boat. So I think the back band is going to work out very well for me. We'll see how things go when I get out of the kayak down here. What I failed to make clear is that I did not remove or replace the entire kayak seat. I merely swapped the tall, stiff backrest for a much shorter, flexible back band. The bottom of the seat where my butt goes was unchanged. Getting out of the boat actually went better than I expected, except that the water was deeper than the tops of my boots, and I walked around with 2 aquariums on my feet for a while. Not having the tall backrest sticking up over the top of the kayak certainly made exiting easier. Now all that remained was to unload the boat and put it back on the trailer, drive home, and escape the confines of the dry suit. I'm just an entry-level, recreational, and occasional winter season paddler, and I don't want to pay more for a dry suit than what I spent on my boat, so this knockoff from Amazon serves me well. Plus, it doesn't complain as much as the brand name ones whenever I swear blue blazes when getting into or out of it. I also have to get reacquainted with backing up a trailer. I didn't do too badly here, only having to pull forward once to make a small correction. Overall, I was pleased with my first outing of the year. I set a goal of simply getting out for a couple hours, nothing too far away, too long or strenuous, just a nice to see you again kind of visit with the realities of kayaking. Now, I will need to spend some time in shallow water, tilting the boat over onto its edge, tempting turning over. I'll never be as competent or comfortable as Dan Arbuckle or Ken Whiting in carving steep turns, but I'm quietly confident that I will get to the point where I can edge the boat over more than a few degrees to port or starboard. At least now I've gathered some of my equipment and know where it is. and I have attempted to put it away in a logical place. Somewhere that is totally logical now, but will make no sense the next time I try to find it when I go kayaking again. It turned out that I had remembered most of the basics of preparing, paddling, and getting back home, and there was less for me to become reacquainted with. The afternoon felt more like greeting a longtime friend than meeting someone for the first time. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Ring the bell to subscribe if you would like to see other videos from my channel. And thanks for watching.